I don't have very great knowledge about the seas and what lives in them and their workings and all of those things. But I ran across a little story not long ago that sort of came back to my memory when I was reading our scriptures for today. And apparently, in the Bay of Naples in Italy, there is a certain species of jellyfish called a medusa. And there's also a certain species of very small snails that are of the nudibranch variety. And the interesting thing about these two sort of different kinds of creatures that live in the sea is that sometimes the jellyfish will eat the young, small snails. And once it takes it in, it sends it to its digestive tract. But because the snail has this very hard shell, it can't be digested. And what happens is that the snail attaches itself to the jellyfish and begins to eat it from the inside out. So that by the time the snail reaches its full growth, its full maturity, the jellyfish is no more. The snail has eaten it all. Something attached, that snail attached to the inside of a jellyfish, eating it to the point where it's ultimately no more. You know, our Gospels from Matthew over the last several weeks have been reminding us of the need to forgive, the need to seek forgiveness, the great grace of God's forgiveness in our life. And I think our gospel today sort of says to us what can happen if we don't buy into that forgiveness, if we don't seek it out, if we don't take it on ourselves. Jesus never asked us to worship him. What Jesus asked us was to follow him over and over again. The action of living out the invitation to be in relationship with God. And our little example of the snail and the jellyfish is a reality of what can happen to us when we let things like anger and hate and disrespect and prejudice sort of grab a hold of us, sort of attach themselves to us on the inside. We've been through a tough year. There's nobody that could say anything different. And we've constantly had a lot of things thrown at us, a lot of things that probably have made us profoundly uncomfortable, made us struggle, made us become angry, made us look at certain aspects of life or certain people in life or certain groups of people in life and begin to let that hate take a hold of us, to attach itself to us and begin to eat at us. If we continue to let that happen, what's the end? It's certainly death. It's certainly us as no more. As St. Paul tells us in that short little passage today, no one lives for themselves and no one dies from themselves. We live and we die for the Lord. Maybe we're just being reminded of that. To forgive, to respect, to value, to see the goodness, to see the presence of God in each and every person. And even if we struggle, even if we disagree, even if we don't see the things the same way, to value that other person. so that we live this journey with the gift and the presence of God. With faith, let us place our prayers and needs before our